All right, boys. Another day, another content from AniNews. Today, we got ReZero Season 3 content. How the battle between SUBARU and Regulus really went. Now, I've been informed. All right, I've been informed by my lawyers. They've advised me to just literally look away. Okay. All right, I need to look away. Okay, I can't look. I can't look at the screen for 30 seconds. Apparently, there's some crazy scenes. So you know what? I'm gonna let it play out, but I'll hear out any news. So I'm gonna look down, or do I just go like? No, I'm just gonna look down. Okay, I'll look down on my phone, man. I'll look down on my phone, but 30 seconds, right? Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I know I'm pretty late to filling you in on ReZero, but I
Right.
actually think it might have worked out for the best. I'm still incredibly sorry to keep you waiting this long, but with the story now being segmented into each fight against the archbishops, rather than do cut content episode by episode,
Yeah.
I can instead split them up by matchup.
Yeah, he's doing
So, where
he's doing
normally we'd
matchups.
be jumping around from fight to fight, now we can simply focus on one of them. I'll be doing 2 episodes to cover the whole Regulus showdown, then 1 each for all the other archbishops after that.
Okay.
It'll be everything these incredible battles left out from the novel. Now, I'm just gonna take a quick second to
Alright.
promote my new teas inspired by solo leveling, since
We good? We good? You good now? Alright, we good? Okay. Alright, let's go. No, listen, I have no, okay, listen, I don't know how bad it is, but like, I'd rather just like, not even risk it, so. Let's go.
for those looking for other ways to do so. But anyway, this is the first half to Subaru's fight against Regulus. It's all the additional interactions, dialogue, and even fights, up to when he figures out what his powers are.
Okay.
The anime did a fantastic job adapting what they did, but there were several moments left out that added to the overall intensity and Subaru's struggle to survive. So, to start with when he just entered the church, there was a bit more back and forth between him and Regulus. Regulus would call it a shame the wedding was about to become awake, while Subaru would question the confidence from a guy who just got turned down at the altar. What then caused Regulus to start using force wasn't Reinhardt's comment about him not being worthy, but rather Subaru's own comment insulting his persona. You see, for someone who's always calling himself complete and perfect, Subaru found it odd that Regulus was always comparing himself to those he described as defective. It was a flaw in his logic that Regulus didn't like being pointed out. Now, Regulus's threat here wasn't just a bluff that risked every wife currently present, they were words he truly believed regardless of how nonsensical they were. As insane as it was to think he wouldn't have been responsible for killing them, the way he spoke clearly indicated otherwise. At no point did Regulus think anyone other than Subaru and Reinhardt would be their murderers. It was an absurd notion of justice Regulus found zero lies in.
This guy.
It was when Amelia made the move which put herself into a worse situation that Reinhardt's obedience and Regulus' words respecting it would be some of the most logical things he's said ever. Aside from it being a commendable act of humility, the opportunity for diplomacy was what Regulus believed language had evolved for. To him, too many people tried to resolve things by force without first talking about it. So, for all the crazy things Regulus had said before, it seems there are a couple times when he does make a bit of sense.
It's kind of funny, right? Like, this guy just, like, doesn't make sense. We fucking know this. We fucking know. We've seen this guy, bro, talk, like, fucking yap, bro. Bro, a lot of the times he just be talking. He just be yapping. Like, do we even... like, bro, like, sometimes I'm just, like, I literally just, like, let it pass, because I'm just, like, bro, this guy's just making no sense. It's just him calling Amelia a whore and all this shit. I'm just like, alright, bro, like, are we, like, we're making zero sense right now.
Although, in this case it was to express a demand most wouldn't consider fair at all. Initially, said demand was to die by his hand, but considering how impolite it would be to ask him that, Regulus instead showed gratitude to Reinhardt and offered what we saw in the anime.
Okay.
Him dying then led to an interesting comment from Regulus, since it's kind of ironic for a guy who's practically immortal to talk about death being this cruel equalizer.
No matter what kind of life we lead, death comes all too quickly. However great the achievements, however terrible the sins, death comes for all equally. In this world, where all sorts of inequality go unpunished, death is a kind and cruel equalizer. Okay.
Interestingly enough, though, It seems even Regulus knew death would eventually come for him too. It's for that reason that he described himself as someone satisfied with the smaller things, as a person who proclaims to not need much. Knowing the end was imminent was why he lived life continually seeking out joy.
Interesting. He lived a life just continuously seeking out joy. Damn. Crazy. But it's funny because, like, I don't know if he expected his life to end there, though. You know what I mean? Did he really, like, did he expect his life to end right there, like, right after, like, the fight and everyone pulled up? I don't think so. I think that was a very big twist, huh?
It was also that when that time finally came, he could say he was content. It was after reviving and attacking with Amelia's sword that the weapon would crumble away from the force of it. The fact it lasted long enough to create the impact it did, though, was an exceptional feat that spoke volumes to its creator.
Yes.
Not many weapons could withstand the power Reinhardt put into them. Now, for those wondering about Reinhardt's Blessing of the Phoenix, according to him, it allows him to revive from a single death. I'm assuming that means it can only be used once, but that doesn't mean he can't just manifest another blessing that does the exact same thing.
Exactly. It's a single time. Only once, but it's like, dude, it's definitely gonna be one of those things where, like, it's definitely gonna be one of those things where, like, he can just, like, wish it back. He just goes, yo, Alagna, man. Yo, Alagna, man. How you doing, bro? I hope you're good. Can I get another one? Okay, or like maybe one similar like that, you know, I die and I'm just good. All right, bet, bro. Thanks. I have been blessed. like I have been blessed. Like, you know, like at that point.
I mean, we saw blessings come to him when he needed them, so I imagine Reinhardt can just ask for whatever now.
Yep.
Regulus returning from the rubble included yet another introduction and proclamation of how he was the most complete person, along with remarks regarding their disregard for him as a person. It was when hearing those iconic statements Greed was known for that Amelia would start to remember something. She couldn't help but feel that she'd met him somewhere. So, rather than just keep herself guessing, Amelia decided to ask Regulus straight to his face. It was a question to which he answered no. Regulus had no memory of ever coming across her before.
There we go. And that's why he recalled in the anime. He recalled when he was dying. He was like, the kid next to Fortuna Regulus, bruh. Oh, shit, man.
To him, this was just her trying to trick him, and that led to a series of insults regarding her infidelity. As words SUBARU couldn't stand to accept, he quickly flung his whip right at Regulus's face. Of course, it did no damage, but it did, however, stop his rant before he could insult Amelia more. It was right as Regulus was about to make SUBARU pay for that's when Reinhardt would send him flying.
Oh!
Bringing us now to the new battlefield that was the entire city of Pristella.
So he did use the whip. Okay. My goat did do something. He was like, man, shut the fuck up, bitch. He did do something, man.
For SUBARU and Amelia, who stayed behind to deal with the wives, this was a challenge of its own because Regulus's hold on their heart was unbreakable.
It's too much.
An interesting interaction which highlighted exactly that was a certain chuckle Sylphie gave when SUBARU suggested Reinhardt could beat Regulus.
Oh.
You see, unlike how Sylphie remained emotionless in the anime, in the novel she instead laughed at SUBARU like he was a child spouting a fairy tale.
Oh.
To her and all the other wives next to her, Regulus's power was absolute.
Damn, so in the novel, she was out here laughing. She was like, this guy thinks to go and beat him. Like, oh.
There wasn't anything SUBARU could say that would change that.
Damn.
Now, with Reinhardt and Regulus essentially being the unstoppable force and the immovable object, you'd think their matchup would be a tie all the way through. This, however, wasn't the case, as there were constant shifts in momentum in which either side looked like they could win. So, first it was very easily Reinhardt, since with Regulus being an amateur who knew very little about the technical aspects of combat, keeping up with him was straight up impossible.
This guy's bronze, bro. Fucking I cannot out here saying the perfect analogies, man. Literally a bronze player, bro. Bro does not know how to fight. He's literally hard carried by his authority. It's so fucking funny.
There was no way for Regulus to effectively counter at all, so all he could do was toss his hands haphazardly in every direction. For SUBARU, who was watching all this happen, Reinhardt's speed made it look like he was in 16 places at once.
Bruh.
Neither him nor Regulus could keep up with what Reinhardt was doing.
Dude, he was in 16 places out of once, brother. Brother.
Even Reinhardt was well aware of this skill disparity himself, so when Regulus had asked out of shock what he was, not only did Reinhardt have time to state his position as Felt's knight, he was also able to advertise his hopes of garnering Regulus's support in the election. I'm sure this was just Reinhardt being Reinhardt, but from Regulus's perspective, it was pretty BM.
Yo, Reinhardt being Reinhardt, the disrespect, man. Fuck out of here with that shit, bro.
Only did Reinhardt have time to state his position as Felt's knight, he was also able to advertise his hopes of garnering Regulus's support in the election.
That's funny as hell. That's fucking hilarious. Yo, he was like, hey, so, you know, Fel, she's a royal selection, you know, she's a candidate, man. You can help her out, bro. You can join up, man. Yo, that's funny as hell. Actual disrespect.
I'm sure this was just Reinhardt being Reinhardt.
Reinhardt being
from
Reinhardt.
Regulus's perspective, it was pretty BM. I mean, clearly
Definitely.
he wasn't being taken seriously.
What
What Reinhardt was able to learn from his various attacks here, though, was that Regulus's invincibility differed from the way his blessings worked. It seemed the rules that applied to both their powers were very much different. So, it was as Regulus continued to get knocked around that he would heavily criticize the violence Reinhardt seemed to rely on so much. This enabled Regulus to call Reinhardt a villain, and that was an assessment Reinhardt couldn't necessarily disagree with.
The violence of yours may have carried the day countless times before, but this is the limit for those whose happiness is built atop the sacrifices of others. How many people's feelings have you trampled on, you hideous, greedy monster? Greedy, huh?
Perhaps this was Reinhardt just being modest, but for him there was some truth to it.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna shy away from the fact that his methods were essentially victory by overwhelming force. This made talking to Regulus be like looking deep into a mirror at himself, and it was from that he now understood why Subaru advised not to listen to him. Such self-reflection was something Regulus couldn't care less for, though, so he quickly started mocking Subaru next. It was an unacceptable act Reinhardt couldn't stand for, leading him to drag Regulus's head across the pavement and plow the streets with it. He would then set him up for this beautifully artistic ice attack, a plan Subaru himself described as a cheese strat. It was after when Subaru thought the fight was over that he would start to feel guilty for teaming up on Regulus. Given how he had a new appreciation for life, Subaru honestly didn't like the idea of killing anymore.
Damn. The difference, huh? A new outlook on life, man. New value on life itself. He didn't want to kill anymore. He didn't want to kill anyone, man. Damn. Damn, Subaru. Fucking hell, bro. The character development is just... The character development today, bro. Like, the character development that AniNews was saying here, like, showing here, bro. It's just so fucking good, bro. We just see the character development we just keep seeing, like, more and more on Subaru's character and how he feels, right? And how far he has come, bro. Damn.
Given how he had a new appreciation for life, Subaru honestly didn't like the idea of killing anymore.
Yeah.
He knew all too well that only terrible things came from revenge.
Correct.
So, it was for that reason Subaru did feel remorse right now, but considering how archbishops were an unfathomable evil that couldn't be left alive, this to him was the exception.
Yeah?
Now, I'm sure you did.
It is an exception. Because, like, Regulus, bro. Regulus had to go. Nah, because, like, Regulus is an exception, bro. He had to fucking go. Like, deadass. He had to get the fuck out of here, bro.
Evil that couldn't be left alive. This to him was the exception. Now, I'm sure you deduced each of Subaru's plans was part of an overall plan to...
Plan B, balls. Plan B, vitals. Plan W, watery grave. Plan O, own goal. Plan A, armpits. Nice. Plan balls. Plan armpits. Okay.
Figure out how Regulus's invulnerability worked, so the fact he came out of this without even being wet, well, that clearly indicated this wasn't some sort of enhanced defense ability.
Yeah.
No, If anything, they knew now that this was something fundamentally different. Perhaps a power related to his ability to casually walk on water. It's then that Reinhardt would grab his sword back from Subaru, but despite it still not budging from its sheath, Reinhardt's own opinion was different now. His assessment was that Regulus was dangerous. His only choice then was to swing his sword with the sheath on, highlighting a mindset that only the strong could afford. You see, it was only those who were truly powerful that never saw the need for subtlety or tricks. With overwhelming force always being the most successful, that was the only tool they ever needed to rely on.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, this would lead to an intense clash the anime left out, which is a bit unfortunate since it showed Regulus taking the fight a bit more seriously.
Damn.
Like, where before he was getting tossed around like a ragdoll, now every hit didn't even move him an inch. Despite each blow being strong enough to kill any other person hundreds of times over, there just didn't seem to be any sort of impact anymore.
Enough like force to kill people like 100 times over, huh? That's what he said. Dude, that's fucking crazy. And Regulus was just tanking it because of his fucking authority. That shit was so fucking broken. Because like we know what happened. As soon as that shit dropped, as soon as he didn't have that invincibility, time stopping shit no more, bro, it was GG's. He literally just got, bro, he got literally comboed by Emilia. Like Emilia literally just fucking kicked the fuck out of him, punched him 53 times, man, it was over.
The two had reached yet another even deadlock. This was a tie that didn't last for long though, as during an incredible bout of close quarters combat, Reinhardt would get his leg literally exploded by an attack from Regulus.
Yep, we did learn this. Mr. Ekina did mention this. Ekina was like, yo, they removed this scene. This shit is so annoying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to see that, bro. That would have been some crazy shock factor, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you imagine like, we see them like fighting, like actually like moving around, and all of a sudden, Reinhardt like starts punching. All of a sudden, Regulus stops moving, and all of a sudden, his leg is gone. Like, that would have been fucking wild. I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, what the fuck? Regulus is like that? He lost his leg? Like, they definitely made him seem weaker. They definitely made him seem weaker and a little less, like, I guess, like, intimidating in a way in the anime. Like,
it wasn't from any of the projectiles Regulus had produced, though, but rather his own breath he turned into a weapon. A mere sigh had allowed Regulus to attack from a place Reinhardt least expected.
Correct.
That's what
it was literally his own breath. Bro said, and boom, leg gone. That is fucking crazy, bro. What the fuck?
Expected. That's what led him to get kicked away, removing him from the battle despite Emilia's best efforts to stop him. Though we didn't see it in the anime, she had actually summoned several walls of ice to slow Reinhardt down. None of which worked, as he would instead fly right through, leaving this unnatural human-shaped gap behind him. And that's a point we'll soon find out is very important. Regulus's ensuing argument with Emilia would result in a rant of straight-up misogyny, followed by that crazy scene with the water cube.
Yeah.
This led to their retreat down the waterway, which at first was using only their shoes, up until Subaru made the suggestion to create skates.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a little different. So Subaru was the one that technically actually said the skates idea. In the anime, they just like went for it. They were like, oh, fuck it, bro. Let's go. Get the fuck out of here.
It's not like this was something Emilia had practiced making before, but what she did practice was lots of image training with Subaru. Her ice brand arts was a technique Subaru taught her, and that practiced communication from it is what allowed her to make these skates.
Bro, Subaru out here... What? Image training? Bro, Subaru, what? That's sick. W fucking training? They fucking... Yo, what? They fucking Subaru the trainer, bro? Trainer Subaru? Yo, Subaru is such a go, man.
Emilia's counterattack while on them was a futile effort Regulus could only describe as pointless resistance.
Yep.
And when pointless resistance was done in the face of someone with overwhelming strength, well, that's what Regulus considered a denial of his right to be himself. To him, fighting back was them showing lack of consideration for their opponent.
What the
Regulus's chase would then continue far longer than what we saw in the anime, since even after leveling out on even ground, Regulus would continue his pursuit while Subaru and Emilia would continue to run away. How did Emilia and Subaru maintain their momentum while not sliding downward anymore? Well, that was due to an incredible display of finesse from Subaru's skills with the whip.
Let's
You see,
go.
Amelia would have to create projectiles of ice, which would then serve as self-propelled rockets for Subaru to latch onto. As soon as the icicle they were attached to started to lose velocity, Amelia would make another one, then Subaru would latch on to that. So, altogether it was a pretty difficult game of target switching, since not only did Subaru have to accurately land his whip while they were moving, there was also a very small window in which the switch was possible.
Dude, what kind of teamwork? Holy shit! Yeah, everything just happened so fast in the anime. Like all of a sudden, like skates, we're skating. All of a sudden, we go a little bit, and then like he just does the whip and like goes on the pole and then like get out. That's crazy. There was an entire fucking process here, bro. This fucking duo, man. I'm telling you, bro. Peak fucking duo, bro. Holy W couple, man.
His whip while they were moving, there was also a very small window in which the switch was possible.
Bruh.
Plus, with the added speed making it impossible for the lesser spirits to keep freezing the water, Subaru and Amelia were essentially water skiing now.
Water skiing.
Any mistake would send them headfirst into the canal. That being the case,
wow.
Subaru could only pray to whatever greater power that would listen. He even sent some prayers to his master. It was during this chase that an interesting observation was made, since it was whenever Amelia would try to disrupt Regulus with a massive barricade of ice that he would just glide through it like it wasn't even there.
Bruh.
A human-shaped tunnel would form in whatever she dropped on him. This was a peculiar interaction that got Subaru thinking, cause when Reinhardt had gotten hit back here, the gaps that formed in Amelia's ice walls were human-shaped too. They didn't shatter like how they normally would had they been hit with something forceful. They kinda just made space in a way that was completely unnatural.
Interesting. They made space in a way that was completely unnatural. Like, it didn't just break. It was like a human-shaped type of... Okay.
So, whatever move Regulus used to send Reinhardt flying here is the same move he used now to make clear whatever was blocking him. It was an essential clue that helped Subaru to figure out Regulus's power later.
That's how that... So that's how you figured out that hint right there was really what helped them out also figure out the whole, like, time stuff. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, yo, Subaru picking up on this shit is crazy too, bro. Like how... Yo, Subaru picking up on this. Like, how is Subaru... Dude, Subaru's a fucking genius. he's picking up on all these things, dude. Every event, every like moment in the fight, he's just picking this stuff up, bro. And he's like, okay. Yeah, without looping. He figured it all out without dying. No deaths here, y'all.
Move he used now to make clear whatever was blocking him. It was an essential clue that helped Subaru to figure out Regulus's power later.
Yep.
One we unfortunately didn't get to see in the anime.
That sucks.
Now, it was then that Reinhardt would make his return, revealing a healed leg and yet another reason for Regulus to yell at him. Okay. Once again, Reinhardt would be villainized for being more blessed than the average person, since clearly healing magic was his forte too. It made Regulus think Reinhardt was the type of person who crushed people's dreams just by existing.
Crushed people's dreams by just existing. I mean, you can't look at it like that, man. Like, I guess, like, in a way, like, you know, like Reinhardt, man. This guy is just, like, so broken. He's the strongest, bro. I guess if you think about it, like, yo, I guess I'll never be him, bro. I'll never reach his heights, bro. In a way.
Regulus's assumption here was wrong, though, since Reinhardt's leg healing was by no effort of his own. It was simply healed by the lesser spirits in the atmosphere that were worried for him.
Yeah, I think Ekenut also mentioned that, right? It was like the spirits, right? The lesser spirits literally helped them out, like, heal the leg. So that's pretty cool.
Reinhardt would then proceed with Plan O, combined with attempts at Plan A and S in the process.
Bro, what? What are these fucking plan names, bro? Can we take a look at these fucking...
that were worried for him. Reinhardt would then proceed with Plan O.
Plan own goal.
Combined with attempts at Plan A and...
Plan armpits, right? Plan solar plexus. These names are so fucking funny.
All had failed, but at the very least, Reinhardt was buying some time again. It gave Subaru a chance to consider everything he's seen so far. This led to the connection with the stars, which, just like the Japanese architecture here, all pointed to the existence of someone other than him who was pulled into this world. There was clear influence lingering from Subaru's old world.
We're not gonna do it again, okay? We're not gonna do it again, chill. But it's true, like, What is the influence? Like, what does this mean? Like, who the fuck? Like, what is this influence from? Like, like, why did the archbishops? I'm not cooking. No, we already cooked. This is the exact same thing we already cooked. That we already cooked it. Okay. Like, who the fuck? Like, why are their names like related to stars, bro? I don't think it's just because like Tape wrote it like that. Now there has to be a general reason why. You know, there's definitely influence, right? But like we know that other people have gotten isekai here, and you know, and all that. So,
the existence of someone other than him who was pulled into this world. There was clear influence lingering from Subaru's old world. I won't get into the full train of thought Subaru used to unveil Regulus's power, but the nickname for his star in the Leo constellation was clue enough.
Let's see. Yeah, Cor Leonis? Okay.
Amelia's answer to what she felt here also confirmed Subaru's suspicions everything Regulus showed until now wasn't just mere invincibility. This then led to the question, was Regulus's heart beating, which was an answer Reinhardt actually had to sacrifice a lot to learn. Not only was he literally tossed into the moon, but Regulus's attack was so forceful it actually crushed his shoulder blade.
Jesus.
It was the third time Reinhardt had taken damage now.
What the fuck? The third time. Brother. Son. Like. Dude, he was made to be so much more like scarier in a way, right? Like it was, if in a way it was like scarier and like more shocking in the actual material, the original material, right? Like damn. Like Regulus was like, bro, imagine, dude, if I saw Regulus take off Reinhardt's leg and then I check and then and then fucking Regulus takes like fucks up his shoulder blade, like it was he like Reinhardt go back like in pain, dude. 2 shocks. I would have been shocked both. I would be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is Regulus doing, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would have been crazy.
Actually crushed his shoulder blade. It was the third time Reinhardt had taken damage now. With Reinhardt now gone though, Regulus was confident the fight was over. He was hoping Subaru and Amelia would show some sort of despair, but instead they seemed to be enjoying themselves. It was quite the shock considering the punishment they were about to face. Regulus would call them names trying to pressure them into seeing things his way, but Subaru would just clap back with insults of his own.
W Subaru!
Make fun of his gray hair and empty head, all in an effort to extend their time with him.
W Subaru. Starving for time, but at the same time starving for time and also insulting the fuck out of this guy, bro. Fuck it. Yo, it's just funny, yeah, when he's fucking Subaru smiling, bro. We love to see it.
The reason he believed this was the best course of action was because through all his encounters with Regulus so far, Subaru realized he couldn't win without patronizing and dominating his opponent first.
Yep.
So, for Subaru to stand there and act all confident, well, that made it so Regulus still had a long way to go. Like, the only reason Regulus went along with any of their gambits so far was because that was all part of showing them how futile their efforts were. Until they fully understood that nothing worked, Regulus would continue to let them try until they did. He needed to see them reach the darkest pits of despair.
Dumbass. See what that got you, huh? Look what that got you, buddy. Dead. Like...
This was a weakness Subaru knew he could exploit for extra time, since Regulus's need to show how complete and perfect he was trumped the need to win as fast as possible. It's the reason we see him get so mad every time they fight back against him. They refused to acknowledge his dominance no matter how many times they failed. Amelia would then launch her attack, buying time for her to leave while Subaru could run away himself. Regulus couldn't help but be annoyed by the fleeing target in front of him, leading to a chase down where Subaru would have to use parkour to avoid getting caught.
Yep.
He would dodge his attacks as masterfully as he could, then climb 3 stories to a rooftop as agile as ever. Regulus may not have been able to get him there, but what he was able to do was knock that building over like it was nothing. Subaru would just jump to the next, but once again Regulus would follow him and topple that one over too.
Bruh.
It was a cycle of destruction that would repeat until Subaru found himself inside a building climbing a stairwell looking for a way out. Things looked relatively bleak, but after remembering the wise words of his parkour master, that message of survival reminded him of the attitude he needed to face in every situation.
Subaru parkour, bruh. This guy is something else, bro. There is always a way out of any given moment guaranteed. So do not neglect the work needed to find it. The moment you give up is the moment you die. That is fate. What was the master's name, man? I can't believe I forgot his name already, bro. What was his name again, man? Clint. W. Clint, man.
Things looked relatively bleak, but after remembering the wise words of his parkour master, that message of survival reminded him of the attitude he needed to face in every situation. It was a self-taught discipline that supported his frail heart in the worst of situations. So, as tired as he was and as bleak as things looked, Subaru knew there had to be some way out. That's when the exact words he needed to say dawned on him, leading him to yell them out despite dodging through windows and avoiding rubble. It probably wasn't the safest thing to do, but it was certainly the best bet to make considering the situation he was in. Subaru had analyzed Regulus's personality enough to know that this would be the one thing he'd respond to.
Yeah.
Sure enough, Regulus's curiosity to know what it is Subaru knew led him to cease his destruction instantly.
Yep.
Subaru would then get himself to somewhere safe and explain the mentality which allowed him to get to this point.
So funny. It's so funny. He's like, bro, it's literally just them just talking to each other. Fucking bro, Regulus literally just cooked himself, man. Bro literally cooked himself. And and Subaru, another thing I like is that Subaru was like, nah, bro, I don't go fuck. There has to be a way. No matter, literally the entire time he's like, there has to be a way. There has to be a way. He never, bro, never lost hope, bro.
Put simply, Regulus is pretty much like Homelander. He craves for others' approval and needs to be the center of attention always. He constantly speaks of being free of desire and brags of being perfectly fulfilled, but even with all that, he can't live without other people constantly affirming his worth.
That's crazy.
It's for that reason he projects his insecurities and values on everyone else. He needs to feel superior to them because he's narrow-minded and petty like that. He doesn't want to boast about winning because he's strong. He wants to force everyone to lose because he's afraid of himself.
Wow.
So the only satisfaction he gets is from that physical and verbal proof he's better than someone. To not break his opponent's spirit in its entirety, well, that just wasn't good enough to affirm his superiority. That's why when Subaru claimed he knew Regulus's powers, Regulus was so interested in hearing about it despite him being able to cut Subaru down right there and then.
That's bro cooked himself. This is crazy. Bro, literally his entire outlook on everything, bro. Like, bro. Bro was dead. Yo, bro was dead curious. He was like, wait, so like, how did you do it, bro? Yo, like, how? Yo, like, can you let me know?
He had actually closed the gap to be right in front of him. Being at arm's length meant absolutely nothing though, because part of affirming superiority included entertaining Subaru's futile efforts.
Yep. Affirm superiority. Yep. He literally just wants to... He just wants to rub it in his face, huh? He's like, bro, right in front of him, by the way. That's why we saw, like, Regulus, like, in front of Subaru, and it was like, he didn't do anything to him. It's kind of funny.
It meant hearing words that ultimately made no difference to him. That being the case, this then left Subaru with two options only. He could keep BSing and stall for time, or he could answer in increments, gauge Regulus's reaction, and go from there.
Yeah.
The latter is what we saw in the anime, but the reason he didn't go with the former is because in the off chance he did say something completely wrong, Regulus would likely deem that an absolute victory and kill him because of it.
Ooh, that's scary. Dude. Yo, Subaru's so goated. The fact that he was able to say the right thing every single time, bro. That's scary. Imagine Subaru's thoughts, bro. Like, thinking the fact that, like, if he fucks up here, if he just says the wrong thing, bro. Like, if he shows any sense of, like, really letting Regulus win, or like any like hopelessness, or like, you know, pretty much letting him feel superior, right? Like, it would have been GG's. It literally would have been fucking GG's.
So, it's then that Subaru would reveal the whole Lion's Heart thing, and that's a comprehensive topic we'll talk about in the next ReZero video.
Okay.
For now, I hope you enjoyed this one, along with all the details leading up to the climax of the fight.
Alright.
I'll try to get the rest of the fight done next week, but in the meantime, feel free to check out the solo leveling videos, or the new merch
is that it? Or is there another video? Or is that it?
if you want some high-quality anime-inspired streetwear. But anyway...
Part 2? Part 2? Let me see, man. Let's see. Let's go. Let me see. Give me 1 second here, boys. How Subaru beat the Archbishop agreed, right? Okay. Let's go. Yep, we got the... Yep. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. We got another part here. Alright. Let's go.
The true nature of Regulus's power is being able to press pause in the middle of a video game.
Yep.
This was what Subaru said to Regulus the moment he figured it out, and as accurate as it was to describe it like that, Regulus had no idea what any of it meant. Subaru would then call it Lionheart instead, which, put simply, lets him stop time for his physical body. It was a conclusion that stemmed from the connection between the Archbishop's names and the names of the stars that Subaru knew.
Yep, here are the stars, y'all. Here's the stars, y'all. The stars that... the stars of doom and despair, man. Yep, here they are, bro. Look at all the names, man. Holy shit, dude. This is wild. Look at this. It's like every single one. Capella? Betelgeuse, right? Betelgeuse, right? Serious? Regulus? Aldebaran? Like, what is happening here, man?
Such a fact wasn't something Subaru was a fan of, though, since with the name derived from the stars himself, he had always considered the stars kind of like siblings. So, for the most wretched people he'd met to share that same lineage, well, that to him was the ultimate humiliation.
Fucking hell. The theories. Oh my god, what the fuck does this mean, man? What could this fucking mean, bro? Cause yeah, like, see them as siblings, right? Same lineage. Yeah, I'd be crazy, bro. Subaru. No, we're not going with the Subaru is siblings with the Archbishop's theory. No, no, we're not going with that theory, guys. Come on, man, go.
Well, that to him was the ultimate humiliation.
Yo!
It made him furious at whoever decided to name them that way.
There's apparently a reason why Betelgeuse is not fully correct about being Betelgeuse. Interesting. A reason, huh?
Now, we already know the word-based paths Subaru followed to figure out Regulus's power, but the steps before were just as important too.
Right.
With every plan serving as a different means to figuring out his invincibility, eventually Subaru would learn it wasn't invincibility at all. If it was, then him and Reinhardt would have been able to see through it by now. So, it was after that rigorous process of ruling out various possibilities, combined with Amelia's recollection and Subaru's connection to Lionheart, that only one answer would be left to explain all of it. All the patterns Regulus exhibited dictated his powers didn't make him invincible at all. No, what Regulus was doing would be classified as a time-stop ability.
Time-stop.
More specifically, his ability allowed him to stop time for all sorts of objects. This was an answer that seemed so much more obvious the more Subaru thought about it, since when he looked back at the twisted worldview Regulus abided by, the way he lived was clearly a testament to the obscene power gifted to him. Then, with time preventing the change of an object's state, it explained how he could be in water and not get wet, or how he could throw dirt and rocks that would penetrate anything.
Yeah, the absence of
Removing time as a property they were affected by essentially turned them into anomalies in space which could pass through anything.
Bruh.
So, Subaru would
broken.
actually go on to describe it as something akin to a vacuum-slash ability, since with Regulus effectively being this distortion in space, that would allow him or anything he touches to bypass everything. It didn't matter how strong or durable it was. An object with its time stopped was nothing more than a vacuum to an object with time. It would pass straight through it as if it wasn't even there. To explain this with a practical example we saw in the anime, let's use Krush as our test dummy. Here we saw that Regulus didn't even need dirt. While that is one of the more common projectiles he uses, by simply moving he's affecting the air around him, so say he applies his time stop to some of the air he's displacing, that would make it a projectile no different than the dirt.
Correct. Oh my, dude, this is so broken, bro. I mean, we already kind of heard like some like this from Ekinet, so yeah.
Whether it's with the slash of his arms or even a simple blink of his eyes, if he applies time stop to the air he's displacing, that air will then hold the state it was last in and proceed forward indefinitely.
Jeez.
So, Where for a normal person waving your arm does nothing, Regulus can stop time for the air his arm displaces, have it keep the state of movement it was frozen in, then that in turn results in an unstoppable, unseeable projectile cutting through everything.
Dude, that's fucking broken. Freezing air, bruh. Bro is stopping air, bruh. What the fuck? Like, what the hell, man? And I guess that makes sense why back in season 2, episode 1, like, y'all saw what happened to Crucia's arm, bro? Fucking hell, man. GG's.
The same applies for dirt and rocks, and it was even seen applied to Reinhardt. Now, when it comes to stopping time for his body, the state he was in pre-time stop is the state he'll be in after. That being the case, it doesn't matter how much wear and tear he takes in between, whatever state he initiated it in is the same state he'll come out in after.
Exactly. His initial state, the way he started was like that. So like, no matter how much you hit him, no matter how you try to change him, you just literally can't.
It was truly the ultimate ability in terms of both offense and defense.
Yep.
With its applications seemingly endless, you know it's OP when invincibility is just a mere side effect of it. So, Subaru pinpointing this had for the first time left Regulus shocked, but it didn't last long as his focus quickly shifted to hunting down Subaru. Now that Subaru understood the fundamentals of Regulus's power though, he could easily navigate the chase in a way that actually manipulated Regulus. You see, with Regulus being the novice he was, a simple taunt was all it took to make him engage head-on.
Yep. The rage bait gets to him, huh? Bro, this scene right here, bro. This scene already. Subaru fucking laughing. Yo, I know that triggered him. I know that made him mad, bro. Like, this guy is such a fraud. The sword didn't get the sheath. He's a fraud. Laugh at him. Like, that's so funny.
It took to make him engage head-on.
Yo.
Subaru had cleverly placed himself behind a hole though, so the moment Regulus's footing reached said hole, he would instantly fall without a means to save himself. Had it been a pitfall or some type of covered trap, then Regulus would have just used time stop to create a foothold out of it. It's because there was nothing around him other than air though that Regulus would simply fall without being able to stop it.
Yeah.
He would have to reach the bottom before he could do anything to make his way out. Subaru would then mock Regulus and flip him off, keeping him occupied as the lesser spirit Amelia gave him continued digging out more holes in the ground.
Subaru flipped him off? Subaru flipped him off, bruh. What? Look at the look at the art. Look at the fucking art, bro. That's fucking funny. It's honestly kind of surprising, but you're so obsessed with direct confrontation that you are almost comically weak against every sort of trick. W fucking Subaru line. What? What a fucking... Yo, what a line, flipping it off and shit. Talk your fucking shit, man.
Subaru would then mock Regulus and flip him off, keeping him occupied as the lesser spirit Amelia gave him continued digging out more holes in the ground.
Damn.
Subaru kept mental marks of where each of them were, but for Regulus, who was totally unfocused, navigating the terrain wasn't so easy anymore. He would be much more cautious than he was before. This in turn allowed Subaru to stall for time as long as he wanted, since he could easily dig as many holes as he needed, and Regulus would remain trapped by what was nothing more than undisguised pitfalls.
Wow.
It was clear proof Regulus's experience was lacking. He had likely only ever crushed his enemies in a head-on battle, so when confronted with something a bit more prolonged, this was completely new territory for him.
Bro got zero experience, bruh.
It was such an easy workaround that Subaru almost felt bad for Regulus.
Subaru almost felt bad. That's how bad it is. Yo, that's how bad it is. Subaru was like, damn, look, I kind of feel bad. Like, this guy is just like, no experience, literally.
More prolonged, this was completely new territory for him. It was such an easy workaround that Subaru almost felt bad for Regulus.
That's funny.
He felt taking advantage of someone so unskilled was actually making him a worse person. That's actually the reason he wanted Amelia to leave, since with her being such an honest person, Subaru felt this roundabout way of fighting wouldn't suit her. That said, the only weak point in a strategy like this was that the length in which it could go on for depended entirely on Subaru's stamina. Luckily, his bad leg wasn't really hurting, so Subaru knew he could keep going for a while.
Yeah, the leg is good. Stamina. My boy Stamina. Before getting Isekai, bro, low-key was strong, right? And now, the year of training, right? The year that he got training also helped him out. And then now, we also got the leg buff. The leg helping. So, like, he definitely could keep going for a while, bro.
It was as if it was in peak form right now.
Peak form.
A moment later, Regulus would throw a tantrum befitting his persona, destroying the entire ground and every hole along with it. Subaru would mock Regulus again to prevent him from thinking he'd come out with a victory, then create more distance in a classic display of kiting.
Wait, let me, what do you say? Finally realized it. For someone who loves blowing up everything that annoys him, why didn't you just do that to begin with? Did you stop time for your head instead of your body? Yo, Subaru! Damn, Subaru! That's pretty fucking funny. Did you stop time for your head instead of your body, you fucking dumbass?
Then create more distance in a classic display of kiting.
Yep.
As a gamer who knew exactly how to take on powerful bosses like this, Subaru was applying his knowledge of kiting in the best way he could.
Bro was literally kiting. That's hilarious. Like, right before the fucking monster, like, attacks, literally just, like, dodge, roll. Perfect. That's funny.
It was the most he'd ever had to use knowledge from his old world.
That's funny as hell.
So, this cycle of mocking and kiting would continue endlessly, all while Subaru would avoid both the shelters and Amelia. In fact, there were actually quite a lot of things he was trying to do at once. Not only was he keeping Regulus pinned to one area, but he was also ensuring Amelia had the time she needed, all while avoiding battle in the places where the shelters were. Combine that with trying to keep himself safe too, and what you get is a task that required all his focus.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what it all came down to was stalling, and that was the role Subaru committed himself to fulfilling. In the meantime, Amelia would be dealing with the wives, but for him, he needed to avoid this city-destroying calamity.
W staller, bro. Yo, Subaru's like the best staller, bro, low-key.
Like, with Regulus going through what was essentially a temper tantrum, should Subaru venture to a part of the city they had not been to yet, Regulus would be sure to level it shortly after.
Yeah.
Buildings would crumble and foundations shatter, all in pursuit of him. Subaru would keep running and taunting regardless, all because this was the only way to fight Regulus. It was after about 15 minutes that Subaru would finally wind up here, giving Regulus the chance to gloat again.
15 minutes, bro. 15 minutes. Bro was stalling for 15 minutes, bro. No, W fucking Subaru. Bro stalled for 15 minutes against an Archbishop, bro. Against Greed, man. God damn.
As it was with every battle he fought before, Regulus knew it was always fated to end up like this. He would then call Subaru greedy for wishing for something beyond his ability, then reaffirm his own value of excessive avarice leading to ultimate tragedy.
Greed gave rise to vain conflicts, and desire for possession spawned an endless thirst for more, which simply led to the ultimate tragedy. Okay.
As the embodiment of greed himself, he truly thought lack of desire was the most precious thing that any person could have.
Wow.
This obviously wasn't the way he himself lived, but he certainly went to great efforts to enforce it onto others. So, as he genuinely pitied Subaru for his grave mistake, he would convey one last time the message that one should be content within themselves. To him, a man's reach should never extend further than his grasp. Regulus would then ask of Amelia's whereabouts, reveal his bride's connections to his authority, then speak of how entrusting them with his heart was the ultimate expression of love for them. This was, as we saw, part of Subaru's bait to get Regulus to monologue, so that in turn would lead to more predictable attacks from him.
The bait to monologue. Yo, Subaru, bro. W fucking Subaru. Bro was literally just baiting. Bro was just rage baiting. Bro was literally just baiting, and not even just rage baiting, just like monologue baiting, bro. Like, just let him talk, bro. Yo, like, ask him questions, get him mad, talk to him. Like, that's funny as hell.
He would charge forward with a burst of speed not typical to what he displayed before,
Oh.
showing power which stemmed from freezing time on himself. You see, by preventing all physical phenomena from interacting with him, Regulus was free from the forces of gravity, air resistance, and every aspect of the conservation of momentum.
Like, what the fuck, dude? That's such a broken fucking power, and it's so funny. It's so funny. And bro still lost. Yo, my god, Subaru, man. I mean, everyone clutched up, right? But like, I'm just saying, like the Subaru planning, bro. Like figuring out the weakness, and how to beat him, bro. Holy shit, dude. That is fucking crazy. That was literally the only way. Like the Subaru figured literally pretty much the only way, because like otherwise it would have been GG's. Like we can't figure out any other way other than like Subaru's way to beat him. Like what the fuck?
This translated to incredible speed and power, but also made it so he could only attack in one direction.
One direction.
Whichever direction he committed to when time was stopped is the same direction he would continue until it wasn't.
Oh, that's interesting. Every time he like throws an attack or something, he just goes forward that one direction. He can't change. Huh.
So, in the hands of someone more skilled, this would certainly be deadly, but for someone like Regulus, he could barely control it at all. It made dodging his attacks extremely easy.
That's why Subaru was dodging that easy, man. Huh. Yeah, it's like easy reads, bro. You can literally read it, bro. Like it's like super fucking easy. That's why Subaru just like, bro, Subaru was low-key playing a video game in real life, bro. Bro was like literally just seeing his attacks, weave, another attack, weave. Like that's funny.
So much so that Subaru could continue his chase even longer now.
Yeah.
Eventually, Subaru would see the pillar of ice forming in the distance, symbolizing the choice he himself knew he'd never be able to make. Even if he knew killing the wives was the only way to kill Regulus, actually doing so wasn't something Subaru felt he could follow through with.
Of course. And that's why I was like that's why I was like really focusing on the fact, right? I was really focusing on that. Like, yo, no shot, right? Like, no shot, they're dead. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, bro, like, not even just Emilia, like, especially Subaru, right? Like, they're not gonna kill them off, man. Like, it's literally impossible. Like, if they could have, they needed to literally find any fucking way that involved them living. Obviously, dude, obviously.
Even if he knew killing the wives was the only way to kill Regulus, actually doing so wasn't something Subaru felt he could follow through with. So, to see what he could only assume was Emilia doing just that, well, that was something he truly felt would have been unimaginable for her. Now, it was when even that didn't work that, aside from the numerous contradictions Regulus would spew by calling Emilia a mass murderer, Subaru would also review where he might have gone wrong. After entangling so closely with Regulus for the past 12 minutes, he felt he had pretty good insight into his intelligence and vocabulary now. So, it's because of that Subaru knew Regulus didn't have it in him to trick others like the way it seemed. He knew Regulus wasn't capable of bluffing about his powers like that. With the limits of his understanding only extending as far as himself, the understanding of others required to effectively deceive simply wasn't within his capabilities.
What? Yo! Bro is so infatuated by himself. Like, other people, like, it doesn't fucking matter. He doesn't think of other people like that, like deceiving others and all that. It's just because of himself. He only thinks of himself, dude.
Only extending as far as himself, the
Zero
understanding
mind
of
games.
others required to effectively deceive simply wasn't within his capabilities.
Wow.
It's for that reason this whole turn of events was so confusing. Greed's authority should have been figured out for sure now. Turns out there was one wife left, and though the ceremony was never formalized, it was apparent that marriage was just a formality. You see, so long as Regulus considered someone his wife, they would be inducted into his little kingdom regardless of consent.
Wow. So it's like literally based off Regulus. Like, it doesn't matter if they didn't actually get married, right? Like, if he deems Emilia the wife in the little kingdom, it's GG's. She's still affected by the, you know, by being like pretty much like, what was the word, like asphyxiated with his heart, right? Like, that's just how it is.
This meant that despite all Regulus had said about her, Emilia was still someone he considered his. And now that all—
Would that mean that Fortuna got his heart too then, probably? If he likes men, he can make them his wife? Is this really the question we're doing, bro? Yeah? If he likes men?
Kingdom regardless of consent. This meant that despite all Regulus had said about her, Emilia was still someone he considered his.
Wow.
And now that all his other wives were gone, Regulus insisted she remain until he found some new wives. To him, it was her responsibility to fill that gap now. When the only option left was for Amelia to die herself, this was a choice Subaru could never make. He could certainly convince himself sacrificing all the other wives was necessary, but never when it came to Amelia.
Correct.
It was a selfish truth Subaru was more than aware of. It's not like that's something that we can fault him for, though, since it was only natural that those closest to him would be the most precious.
Exactly.
Just like everyone else, Subaru didn't value all lives equally. Amelia was, however, capable of making that choice herself, but with Subaru determined to prevent her from doing so, the only option left after was defeat. With no other means of changing the situation, Regulus would be the only person left with control here. So, after seeing that victory was his for the taking, Regulus would accept Amelia as his temporary wife, then state his intent to kill Subaru as punishment. Any person who infringed on his rights as much as he did, well, let's just say Regulus wasn't a fan of them.
Bro, imagine Subaru died, bro. You imagine? We heard a little. Nah, bro, I wanna. No, bro. Like, where would the checkpoint even be? Like for the sake of the fucking plot, right? Like everything moving forward, bro. Where the fuck would the checkpoint be? Like, if he died there, what the fuck would the checkpoint be? I really can't think of a place where it would be even fair. Like, where would it be even fair, dude?
Now, Amelia channeling her mana here was her prepping to end things herself, up until Subaru would reveal his own intentions. Regulus would just stand there and let it happen, since to him victory was 100% certain now. He knew Subaru had no paths left available to him, so this was just an extra show adding to his sense of satisfaction. It was when Subaru unveiled his unseen hand next that a voice without sound could be felt cheering from within. As much as he hated the idea that Betelgeuse was somehow living inside him, there was without a doubt an incomprehensible mixture of emotions not his own.
What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Damn. Yeah, a voice without sound, bro. A voice without sound. Yes, Trope. We've been watching this for a little bit. Probably when they kick the doors, you think the checkpoint will be there? Maybe, huh? That could be the checkpoint. That'd be still bad, honestly. That's so far back, dude. That's so far back. I mean, relatively, right? Yeah, pretty far back, actually. But, wow. So, damn, you could technically say that Betelgeuse is living within him in a way? Jesus Christ, bro.
It was as if the power itself was cheering for being awakened.
Wow.
Like a deep desire to be wanted was just fulfilled.
He said cheering to be used, like to be wanted? Like, what? When Subaru's mid-dodging an attack until he gets caught? Bro, yeah. What the fuck, bro? I guess, like, the checkpoint wouldn't make sense the most. Like, probably there when the doors get kicked, huh? That would have been wild.
It was just fulfilled. Subaru knew these emotions weren't his own, so the only other facet which could explain it was the witch factor.
The witch factor,
He believed
yeah.
it was expressing gratitude for being called to service again. Now, activating it was something he'd done a few times before, but actually controlling it was entirely different. This and navigating Amelia's heart were two things he'd never done before. Combine this with the fact any mistake could prove fatal, and Subaru knew this was a gamble more stacked against him.
Yeah, W illustration. The witch factor has a mind of its own, it seems like. The witch factor can talk. Seems like Betelgeuse is within it. That's so interesting. Is that how it fucking works? Like, you receive the witch factor and then, like, you keep, like, that, like, I guess, like, essence of the past person with the witch factor within you?
Either way, he still wanted to see if it could be used to save lives regardless. As a power previously used to take lives, Subaru was now seeing firsthand whether its applications were truly limited to that.
Wow.
That's when Amelia would say she trusts both of them, certainly confusing Subaru as to who else she might have been talking about, but...
Wow. It's okay. I trust both of you. That is fucking insane. Also, yeah, if we start cooking too much, bro. Yo, Jad, who created these witch factors? I don't know, man. Oh, no. Blame it all on Satella or Pandora. Yep. It's either both of them, bro. It's either... Yo, you're blaming on them, man. It's probably either both. It's probably both of them.
Also instilling confidence since she spoke as if she was certain the hand would never harm her. So, one squeeze was all it took for Regulus's heart to be removed, leaving him vulnerable to every attack now.
One squeeze.
Much of this satisfying sequence was exactly as we saw in the anime, but to give reason to Regulus's begging here, it was simply because he couldn't fathom trying to win without first having a significant advantage. As soon as things started looking a little tough for him, Subaru knew Regulus was the type to give up without first exploring what other options were available to him. That being the case, for him to beg for a 1v1 here, all this was him trying to reclaim some sort of advantage.
Wow.
It was a truly pathetic sight considering he still possessed one of the most powerful abilities in the world.
One of the most powerful abilities in the world, bro, was like, but like the 1v1s, bro. Yo, run my ones, man. Like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Fast forward to when Reinhardt returned for the cleanup, and Regulus's inner thoughts during his airtime went on much longer than what we saw in the anime.
Oh my.
First, he would go into his past, describing the family he detested, then talking about how he killed them.
The family he detested and yeah,
Gaining his witch factor granted him powers he didn't have before, so first he used it to kill his family, then he used it to kill the village that looked at him with contempt.
What? He got the witch factor, and then he proceeds to kill this family and the village.
Then he used it to kill everyone in the town, which forced him to live such a worthless life.
Oh.
Then he used it to destroy the country, which allowed such towns and villages to exist.
Bro.
It was once all that was done almost a century ago that finally he was able to discover a way of life that best suit him. Fast forward through all that stuff about his wives, and finally we get to the part where he talks about how life was meaningless to him.
Life was meaningless to him. Bro, look at this shit! Any LN readers, man, how y'all feel about seeing this, bro? Yo, this is crazy.
Romance and love and friendship and trust were all ideals Regulus deemed as pointless. To him, love couldn't save anyone, and the idea of understanding one another was just an illusion.
Wow.
So, with life being this silly balancing act of consideration and compromise, Regulus to the very end truly believed in the logic he abided by. And though the anime has him repeating "it's not my fault," in the novel it's actually him repeating "I'm not wrong." Despite everyone else working to prove him otherwise, Regulus still refused to see things any other way than his own. It was after that Regulus would surprisingly plan his counterattack, since though he seemed rather defeated, his humiliation fueled his motivations to get back at them. This led to a plan which would decimate the city in its entirety, since the moment he would start descending, the dirt in his hand could be used as a projectile to wipe out everything. All he needed to do was cast Lionheart for a brief second, then everything below him would be hit with unstoppable projectiles of mass destruction.
Jesus.
Fortunately, Reinhardt was there to ride him like a surfboard, sending him plummeting to the earth like a meteor.
Yep.
The depth at which Regulus ended up wasn't due to Reinhardt's power though, but was rather simply the byproduct of using Lionheart on himself. Remember, stopping time on his body allows him to pass through anything. So, had he kept time frozen for the duration of the entire fall, then Regulus would have plummeted straight through to the bottom of the earth itself.
Oh my god, that would have been fucking insane. You imagine? You fucking imagine we saw that shit, bro? Dude, fuck no, man.
He would have descended to the unknown beyond where even the great waterfall emptied itself.
The beat. Show us! Yo, what the fuck is below this shit, man? What the fuck? I wanna see.
Would have descended to the unknown beyond where even the great waterfall emptied itself.
Fuck!
Returning time was certainly an equally dreadful fate too, since meeting the resistance of the ground shattered literally every bone in his body. The only reason he wasn't instantly turned into a puddle was because his limbs were spread out at the moment of his entry. Instead, his body was just a pile of mush now.
Ew, a pile. His body's a pile of mush, bro. What the fuck?
A mishmash of organs, bones, and blood, all in places where they shouldn't be.
Ah, God, Jesus Christ. Meat scrap Regulus. Oh, bro. Bro was literally mushy, bruh. Bro was mushy.
Somehow he was still breathing though, and through it all maintained the simple thought of, had I been serious, you wouldn't have stood a chance.
Shut the fuck up, bit. Sorry, that triggers me. That triggers me when motherfuckers lose. When motherfuckers lose and then, bro, and they're like, bro, but like, I was holding back. I wasn't actually serious. Like, bro, you lost. It's your fault, bro. Bro, you fucking lost, man. Yeah, like, cope, literally, like, cope. Like, sorry, bro, Lamau, you fucking lost, bro. Like, come on, man.
It was a mindset backed by the singular goal he'd lived his entire life by.
Jeez.
A 100-year resolve to never let anyone pity him.
100-year resolve. And to, like, not let anyone pity him. GG's. Sorry to break it to you, buddy.
This led to an attempt to return to the surface, where once he was there, he was now committed to killing everyone.
Yep.
No longer would he make the same mistake he made before, since never again would he let anyone look down on him.
Yeah, a little too late for that, bro. He noticed that shit a little too late. A little too late, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
This was only possible if he could make it back to the surface, though, and that was an arduous crawl only made possible via Lionheart. With that removing the pain for 5 seconds at a time, Regulus could inch his way back to the surface slowly but surely. Yes, his hands were mangled and fingers gone, but even then he still pushed himself forward.
Wow.
It was then that water would enter to finish the job, but even then Regulus would still prolong it with Lionheart. Sure, it did relieve him of pain and any struggles he had while breathing, but when those 5 seconds were up, the fear of death came creeping ever closer. Keeping Lionheart active only increased the risk of dying from heart failure too, so in this moment where one side was drowning and the other his heart stopping, Regulus alternated between the embrace of 2 deaths.
Oh my god. The embrace of 2 deaths. Dude, he was getting cooked, bro. And he was like mush as well. He's like mushy, dude.
It was a fate he refused to accept no matter how near it drew.
Oh my.
In the end, Regulus would have one wish only, and that was for Amelia not to feel anything at all for him. You see, he hated the idea of her rejoicing his death and starting her life anew, so his final cry was for her to simply forget him.
Wow. And she won't forget him, but like, I think he's looking at it from like, because he did like eventually like in that moment like remember like, oh my god, that was the girl next to Fortuna. But like Emilia is going to remember him as the Archbishop of Greed they fought there. But Regulus remembers her as the girl from all the way back then, and that's why he was like, oh, she's gonna be happy. Oh my god, she avenged Fortuna, she avenged Juice. But like, she's not really thinking about that at all. She just like, she doesn't remember. She just goes like, oh, I feel like I've met him somewhere before. So he technically got what he wanted. He technically got what he wanted in a different way, I guess, huh? Because like Emilia's gonna remember him. It's just, you know, not the way of like pretty much feeling like, oh yeah, she got revenge for Fortuna and Juice, you know?
As the one so involved with her mother's death and Benefactor's transformation,
Yeah.
Regulus wished her to feel zero fulfillment from his demise. Luckily, that's exactly what happened, since with zero memory of who he was before, it turns out Regulus left not a mark on her at all. But yeah, that's the end to the Archbishop of Greed. I hope you enjoyed learning more about what this fight had to offer, and if you want to see more, there's plenty more to come after. Every week will be another ReZero video covering the other fights.
Alright.
So, if you want to see the full extent of the battle for Priestella, then be sure to subscribe to see the video next week. Until then, though.
Alright. What a W. Damn, the video just ended there. Why did it just end so abruptly?
As amazing as
that is the that's spoilers. Ah! I didn't see anything. Jesus Christ. Why did the video end like that? I just skipped over the next video.
The true nature.
Jesus Christ. That scared the fuck out of me. That scared the fuck out of me. We're good. Alright, well, that's that. And that is for, yeah, it just ended there. Oh my god, that scared the fuck out of me. Alright, well, that is it. Yeah, we got tease. Nah, bro, that would have been a whole ass spoiler. That no damn tease. Wow, man, that is it for today's content, man. W fucking AniNews once again, bro. I'm not gonna lie. What a fucking W fight, right? W fight. Overall, a fucking W fight, man. W cut content, bro. Regulus, you kind of just let it happen, bro. Bro said, if I was trying, bro, it would have been GG's. I would have. You lost, bro. It's over, man. We are done with the Archbishop of Greed. Regulus is no more, bro. That is gonna be it for today's cut content from AniNews. AniNews, thank you so much once again for the cut content. If y'all enjoy and you're new, subscribe. Leave a like down below. The full uncut version to all ReZero content will be on Patreon. As always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.